Hello and welcome to the Sports Centre YouTube channel. Me and Carl are here today, and we are discussing the evolution of the goalkeepers. And we're going to stick to particularly in the Premier League, I think, just because I don't know actually, maybe Europe, because I think we're going to probably touch on a few big European names. So yeah, let's just go Europe. Let's just say Europe. Let's branch out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So straight away, well, I think when I first started watching football, Peter Schmeichel he was the Don, wasn't he? He was the guy who every other guy wanted to be.
Yeah. There were a few people behind him, slightly behind him, like Tim Flowers, David Seaman, um, Grobbelaar.
Can I just say something on David Seaman, right? This is a little bit off topic, but I always thought Nigel Martin were a better goalkeeper than him for England.
No way.
Honestly, mate, I did. I always thought Nigel Martin were better than him.
Not for me. Each of their own, but not for me. I don't know where you're getting that from, but not for me.
But yeah, like I said, there were Seyfan Seaman, Tim Flowers. I don't know. I was never really sold on him. I was thinking about it earlier, when I was driving home, and there weren't that many like. Well,
World is.
the term now you say is world class. Yeah, I think we can. I think we can safely say. I think we can agree that Peter Schmeichel was world class.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. Is he a legend?
Yeah, yeah, definitely Premier League legend, Man United legend, yeah, and probably a Denmark legend because he's done everything.
Even a Denmark legend?
He won Euros, didn't he? Captain.
Did it? Did it?
Yeah,
Right.
prove my point.
Just thought I'd ask the question.
Yeah, yeah. So just on that era, and then what we're talking here, we're talking really probably what
90s.
92 to late 90s, like 98, 99 maybe.
Yeah.
I can't think of too many goalkeepers that were particularly in the Premier League that were on his level.
I can't, just trying to go through the other teams. Like I said, the Grobbelaar.
Like we had obviously Grobbelaar, James. I never really rated David
James is a bit
James as
late.
a.
I think James was a little bit later than that one. Eh?
It was obviously late 90s, like mid 90s to late 90s with Liverpool, and obviously moved on to. I think he had spells at City and Villa and all of it, did he? But
Yeah.
I never
Portsmouth.
thought, I never thought he was world class.
No, no, I won't say so either.
And that's what I mean. Like I say, I was trying to go through clubs earlier, and I was thinking I can't think of many teams around that 90s, that decade that had a keeper on Schmeichel's level.
No, definitely not. I mean, I think the level below there was quite a few, like
Yeah, like you say, your Flowers, your James.
Shaka Hislop.
Yeah, yeah. I used to love Shaka. I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was his shirt. They had that Adidas Newcastle Brown Ale shirt, but I just I was a big fan of him, and he used to wear his shirt untucked as well.
Ian Walker.
Ian Walker, he just had a shit hairdo.
Terrible hairdo.
Awful, proper. What do they call it? A bob.
Bob that was slick. Awful.
So I'm thinking moving on from there, and I think it's probably safe to say none of these keepers played with the feet, did they, at this point in time?
No, not really. They were goalkeepers, shot stoppers, commanders.
That's what you remember Schmeichel for doing, like that big starfish save. He made himself massive, didn't he?
Yeah.
Spread himself huge. Moving further down, then I kind of miss a chunk here because my next kind of memory is moving to like your Buffons, your Petr Cechs, kind of. Obviously, I mentioned Pepe Reina before. You weren't having that, but that time,
I'll go with the time. Definitely not. They're not the same levels, but time.
yeah, yeah.
Because, like I said, there were Casillas in there. There were, is it Canizares? Canizares?
Was that even with the Valencia with the white hair?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was a class keeper.
There were Toldo,
Holder,
Peruzzi.
Dida,
No,
is
nah,
give over Carl. Dida were quality.
no way. Didn't have to catch a ball. No way. Dreadful.
Mate, he'll always go down in my book because he spilled one in Champions League final in 2005. Vladimir Schmitzer, so I'm having him.
I always liked Angelo Peruzzi for Juve.
Yeah, do you know who I always liked who never really got the credit I don't think he deserves? His name's just gone now. He played for Chelsea.
Ed
Begin
De
with
Hoy,
no, begin with C.
Cudicini.
Cudicini, yeah, Carlo Cudicini. I always thought he was a class goalkeeper, and he always seemed to play second fiddle to someone.
Even when he went to Tottenham, he was number two.
Yeah, and
It was ridiculous. He was by far a number one keeper,
he was
but
brilliant, wasn't
but he would never get in front of Petr Cech.
he? Yeah, I think that were obviously his downfall when he was at Chelsea, wasn't it? Because Petr Cech were. I think he would a bit of a. He was someone that we'd
Changing,
never. He was
he was
someone that we'd never.
changing of the guards.
Yeah. He was someone that we'd never seen before in Premier League. I think, wasn't he?
For me, he's the best keeper in Premier League.
Would you say so? Yeah.
Yeah, for me. I mean, don't get me wrong. People can throw Schmeichel in. People can throw the couple of keepers, the couple of Brazilian keepers now, Edison, Alisson, and I'd happily I wouldn't disagree with them because there's a few keepers that
Would you say that around that time, though, keepers still weren't really playing out from the back?
no, not really.
I
Again,
can't,
they were very similar to your Schmeichels, I think.
I think they were just more. They seemed to be more agile, didn't they? I think a
Yeah,
lot of obviously training's evolved, sports science has evolved. And I think that I think they just seem to be a little bit more agile. The spring, the leaps. I think the one thing that really, I don't say pissed me off, but the one thing that really annoyed me about goalkeepers around that time is this is when they all stopped catching the ball.
punching. That would it when a lot of we noticed it. I think as English people, when a lot of the foreign players started coming into Premier League, coming
Yeah,
and then when you're talking about keepers, especially like you said, coming in and just punching every cross, and it's like catch the fucking ball.
yeah.
You know, it was very much a continental thing. I think the punching, and
And
then
it's weird now, isn't it? I bet probably 9 times out of 10 keepers will punch the ball. You even see them like if a shot's coming towards them,
yeah,
they'll they'll like fist it away like to side rather than thinking just take it in breadbasket, like just catch it.
it's true.
Do you think that's because they're so scared of spilling it and giving away a chance or something that they think I'd rather just get it out of here?
Yeah, but at the same time, I wonder what the percentage is where when they palm it to one side or fisting it to one side, they actually palm it to opposition will get an attempt at goal.
Oh, yeah,
I
get
bet, I bet it's a,
across or something.
I bet it's a higher percentage than we think.
It probably is. You're probably right. So moving on down the timeline, and now I think we're probably into like the era of now. So I'm thinking the likes of your Allison, your Edison kind of keepers. Probably,
Martinez,
yeah, I think he's made a name for himself since he's left Arsenal. I couldn't believe how long he were actually at Arsenal. Wasn't he there for about 9 years?
again, an understudy number two for pretty much the whole time.
Crazy, isn't it? How some goalkeepers will just. But I suppose you probably think goalkeepers is probably one of the most difficult positions, not to play, but to be. Because as a centre half, you're always going to be one of two. As a fullback, you're going to be one of two. Midfielders, one of three, one of four, maybe, and we can go further at the field. So, but like with goalkeepers, there's only one position on the pitch.
Yeah,
You're only taken up by that. So it's like if you hadn't nailed down that number one spot, you're sitting most of your career on a bench or in stands.
yeah. For me, it's the concentration. You know, they can be like when we're talking Edison Allisons, they don't even a lot of the time they're not really involved because the teams they play for dominate ball. So they're not really in the game much. And then all of a sudden, when I say they're not in the game, they're not in the game for saving shots
Yeah,
that often because, like I said, the teams are dominating. So to be alert and awake to take the shots, I think that concentration blows my mind a bit. But they are involved because nowadays, which I think you're about to allude to, is they play a hell of a lot more with the feet. They are an extra passer along that back line.
yeah. Well, I think Pep on it. He literally he came in and one of his first things that he did was he asked Joe Hart from, and I've watched a couple of interviews with Joe Hart about it now, and he doesn't hold any grudges against him. I think Pep just basically was honest with him and said, "Look, you do not fit into my plans of how I want to play football."
Well, he started it with Victor Valdez, didn't he, at Barca?
Yeah,
It was Valdez, Piqué, Puyol.
forgot about Valdez. I didn't mention him.
In fact, Victor Valdez, yeah. So with them three, they just used to play around with it at back and then feed Dani Alves and whoever else.
Yeah.
And then obviously took it. And you hadn't even mentioned Oliver Kahn and Neuer and
Manuel
it's
Neuer.
absolute beastie keepers there.
Mm.
Yeah, and Neuer's a ball playing keeper, isn't he? So
Do you know what? He's sorry to cut you off a bit. He's probably one of the guys that's maybe he came. So I know we kind of went down three timelines. He's probably come from the middle generation into now and been
yeah,
able
yeah.
to evolve his game. And I don't think many keepers have been able to do that.
Well, he was the original sweeper keeper, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
But he wasn't like you say he was sweeping, but he wasn't ball playing at the time, was he?
No,
He was just like waiting at the edge of his box, long ball over the top. He'd be out, clearing it, putting it in stands or sending it down the other end.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Would you so if your preference, like if you were a football manager, or even maybe even as a fan, like what do you prefer in terms of from your goalkeeper? Do you prefer the days when goalkeepers were goalkeepers, they made saves, or do you like it now, whereas like they're almost like you say, like half a keeper, half an outfield player, really?
think it depends on the team. If your team's good enough, it's good. It's great to watch. You look at Brighton, especially. They, I mean, they're risky as hell at the back, but their keeper's that comfortable on the ball. They pass it out really well. Whereas if you look at Southampton,
Or Burnley last
early on,
season.
and Burnley last season, trying to play out and trying to play this philosophy, it just infuriates you as a fan. So I think if you've got the team to do it, I think it's brilliant. I'd much prefer this, but if you don't have the team, there's nothing wrong with being a Schmeichel. There's nothing wrong with being a Toldo or whoever. Just make your saves and get it out.
As Roy Keane would say, just doing your job.
Do your job, yeah. So I don't know. So it don't. I wouldn't have a preference. I think it would all boil down to
The
the
personnel.
players, the personnel, especially like your fullbacks and your centre backs. Your defence can your defence take a ball on the half turn and then get going with it.
Yeah.
Some well, City, Liverpool, the Bayern Munich, all these teams do have it.
Edison blows my mind with some of the balls he plays.
He could be a centre midfielder for me.
It's ridiculous.
He could,
Honestly,
he could be that quarterback. He could play the Rodri game.
it's mental. Some of the
Friday.
passes he sees. It's like, mate, there's some outfield players that are very very good at football that don't even see those passes that you're just literally pinging straight through their attacking line, straight through their midfield.
So I mean, even that's brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
The vision.
I think as a spectacle, it is so much better rather than just a goalkeeper getting the ball, pinging it long, and then you're scrapping for second balls, aren't you? Really?
Do you think a lot of or some of it boils down to there's not really any more number nines? So previously, Schmeichel or whoever, we're using Schmeichel a lot for an example, but he'll boot ball up to Andy Cole, Dwight York, target men, or knocking the ball up to Shearer, to Sheringham, to all these big target men to bring it down second balls. Whereas now there ain't any of that, so the option for the keeper to boot it long ain't really there.
Do you know what I think it is? And it's funny you should say that because I listened to the rest of his football with Gary Lineker, and he's done a special with Cesc Fabregas,
Right.
and he was saying he was in the Barca academy one, so that's the best of the best. But I think in Spain, you learn to play on small pitches, like quite short, intricate passing all the time. Whereas, remember us as kids, we were playing on like full size pitches from like 9, 10 year old,
Yeah.
and we just couldn't get round them. Like you'd have your left back up other side, and you couldn't even throw it that far. Never mind kick it that far at that age. So we were just literally just like, oh, boot the ball up the field, boot the ball. Whereas now, I think he was saying that in England as well, and pretty much all over the world now, kids play on smaller pitches from when they're older, so they can learn to pass it about. So I think football in general, just globally, has advanced to a point where goalkeepers don't have to knock it long, because ultimately, when you're a kid, you can't knock it long, and you've actually got
Yeah,
players closer to you to be able to play now.
yeah, it's true.
It's
Very true.
it were quite a good listen, to be fair. But before we wrap up, then I'm going to put you on the spot, right, right quick. Who would you say go of all time? Like, who's your favourite goalkeeper of all time?
Ooh.
I mean, it doesn't have to be for playing, or it could just be
No,
literally
but
a guy that you just thought, I'll tune in because I love to see him.
Edison, for
Yeah.
me, I just everything about what he does. It really, I mean, you'll disagree to, I think, because it really peeves me as a football fan when I don't see him as number one for Brazil. I just think, don't get me wrong, Alisson's world class also, but as keeping goes, I think they're very much on par. But Edison tips it for me because of his feet ability, and I just think he's next level. Plus, I think he's a bit quirky with his tattoos up his neck.
I'd just on that, I'd say that in terms of his distribution with his feet, I say Edison's probably a level above Allison, if I'm honest. But I think Allison's a better shot stopper.
And
Um,
yeah,
but
yeah. I
again,
mean, we're
it's
talking small margins here.
oh mate, yeah, like literally we're splitting cock hairs.
Tell
I
you,
think go on.
one I do like, Dan, is Donnarumma, an absolute giant of a keeper.
Do you think he's that good though? Yeah.
I think just because of the size of him, um, he's more intimidating than anything else.
Yeah.
When
Do you know what gets me? It's like when you get the camera angle from in front of the goal when people's taking penalties against
penalty,
him. It's like
like his
Jesus Christ!
goal's
Look at the
tiny.
size of him, man.
That's what I mean. I agree. I don't think he's not Edison, Allison, these levels, but I think it's the intimidation of him because of his size and
Yeah,
maybe his name. Um, but like I said earlier, to answer you, to throw another one in is I always loved watching Peruzzi for
yeah.
you back in the
Mine's. I think I've got to go Iker Casillas. I just think
he's
for what he did, I remember like one of his debut, something mad like it was like Champions League final, his debut for Real Madrid or something. Wasn't it? It was
one of
something.
those. Can't remember.
It was something stupid. He got chucked in at like 70, like 18, 19 year olds, something like that, and then he literally just kept the gloves ever since. He won everything at he was like a really loyal to Madrid, won everything at club level, won everything at country level, and for me, I just thought
Yeah,
he were ridiculous.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
Yeah, but no, so it was a good one. That we'll might have to kind of do next few positions another time.
Do it.
Sound right. Thanks for watching, guys. Let us know in the comments what you think of the goalkeeping evolution. Do you think goalkeepers should just be goalkeepers and basically use their hands, or do you like the fact that they use it as an additional player now? And also let us know in the comments who you would have as your favourite goalkeeper of all time. Right, give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel right there, and I'll catch you in a bit. See you later.